been a big couple of days for BTS. That announcement that they donated $1 million to Black Lives Matter is pretty big news.
And the fact that it came out days after they actually did it. So they do it to draw attention to themselves. It was just something that was picked up days later. I love that about them. Everything they do is so from the heart. And I love that about BTS.
Everything's natural and organic with them. And that's, I think, what draws all of us in, right? The 20 million army that there are.
Absolutely.
So true.
Yeah, if Black Lives Matter hadn't reported the donation, we would never have known.
Exactly.
And the fact that ARMY is now trying to match the 1 million, which I haven't checked lately what we're up to. Last I saw, we were on 700,000.
I was 6
yeah,
it
we're
was close to that when I saw it too. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. $750,000 in like 24 hours.
24 hours.
Not even, right?
Yeah. So how can you not love BTS when they do so much to spread positive influences around the world? It's like they do something that's good, and so everyone else follows. So, gotta love them.
And I love that they are halfway around the world and doing this. Because I honestly, I mean, and if they have, I haven't heard of too many other artists that have put themselves out there in this way.
I haven't heard of anybody making that kind of a donation in any form or fashion.
I believe I read that there's been 2 other donators that did $1 million. One was Michael Jordan and the other was Kanye. And that's it. Nobody else has donated like that large of a sum.
Wow. We stand kings.
Yes,
we really do. And I love that it's always, you know, their actions always speak louder than words. You can talk about a lot of things, but when you can see it in action, then you know that person is really genuine. And those 7 are some of the most genuine people I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, they walk the walk, to be sure.
Yeah.
And talk the talk.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I like what RM said. Just 2 words, trust us. And I think that's all we as their fans need to remember, is to trust them. Because they always show us the right path. They always choose to do the right thing.
That is true.
Yeah, I've not disagreed with anything that they've chosen to do.
They love just everyone, you know. It doesn't matter of your age, your race, your gender, whatever. They're all inclusive. No one is left out. They embrace everyone into the fold, just like ARMY.
To the degree that, I mean, look at all of us. You know, we range, our age range. We've got some super Nuna armies up in here. And we love these boys, you know, the way some of us loved our groups from back in the day when we were several decades younger. And the fact that they've brought us in, and I'm not going anywhere. I mean, and I'm sure you guys feel the same way. We OT7 for life. Yeah. We are in this forever.
I think it's interesting that when they talk about BTS's fan base, though, it always gets relegated to teenagers. But the biggest fan base is the 40 to 49-year-old age range.
I think that's a very easy narrative. It's a lazy narrative to follow, the crazed teenagers. But it's not accurate.
It might be true for like other K-pop groups. And while if you have to put BTS in a box, go ahead and put it in K-pop, that's fine. BTS is unlike anybody else. So their fan base is unlike anybody else.
Yeah.
You know, it's like the phrase, be the good in the world. And BTS is the good in this world. And they're good for people of their generation, people of my generation, and the younger generation. And you can look up to them, even at my age. You can look at them and you can still learn something from them. And to me, they're very inspirational.
Absolutely.
My granddaughter, she was born in August, and I played these 4 o'clock him and RM song because I have to train her to be an army.
Good for you.
Yeah, starting her off right.
Yes, her mom
Absolutely.
introduced it to me, and so I said, "Well, what do you think she's going to be hearing when she comes to my house? It's going to be Korean. So what's your point?
She's going to be fluent.
Yes.
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 Learning as a
Yes.
child will be so much easier.
You know, I see there's such huge role models for kids that
Right.
you know, I see them as huge role models for children and adults alike, because I don't think I would have been donating. I did donate before, and when the call went out, I donated again.
I love too just how humble they are for a bunch of 20-year-olds.
I know.
They're that have achieved such success and
Yeah.
wealth and fame and all of the excess that anybody could possibly have.
They
have
stay
all of it.
grounded.
They really do.
They
And
stay grounded.
I don't know if it's partially their culture and partially just who they are as people. But
Yeah.
I mean, I've just never seen, and they're not the only K-pop group that I pay attention to or that I'm a fan of,
Yeah.
but they are definitely the most humble and just the most down to earth and caring and genuine men about each other, about other people. When Jimin was making his speech and you could just see it on his face, and he was like, I just worry about all of you and I hope that you're okay, and if you're not, just know that there's somebody in Korea that cares about you, and you just know he meant it. You don't get that with everybody.
Yeah.
One of the things that I find is so special about them, and I'm always struck when they do their V Lives after participating in an award show, whether it be here in the States or back in Korea, they themselves say, you know, people ask us all the time, well, aren't you going to go out and party? And they say, no, but we're going to go back up to our hotel room and we're going to talk to ARMY. And that is I think that's one of the things that keeps them so grounded is their love for us. We just have this beautiful relationship, BTS and ARMY, and it's so real and it's so important. And I think that it's one of the things that sets them apart from any other artist out there is how much of their heart and soul they put into the fans.
If you are not
Absolutely.
army, you do not understand it.
Right.
You do not understand how you could love these young men at your age, what it is about them that makes you love them so much. But it's just that they're human. They're humble. They're the biggest boy band in the world. Now, come on. They should have been riding high. You know, they could have been puffed up. They could have been anything. But it hasn't changed them one bit from who they were. Just humble, regular, simple young men. I don't know what's not to love. I don't know what's not to love.
That's what attracted them to me last year, was their authenticity.
Yeah.
I don't comment on YouTube and whatever. I listened to a program and there was a Korean American. He was kind of belittling them, and that me off. I am thinking, why would you be saying this kind of thing? The music is inferior, and he was talking about Korea has so much better things to be proud of. And he was talking about the language. And I'm thinking, but if it wasn't for BTS, who would be studying Korean today? With the amount of people and young people who are busy trying to learn Korean and visiting Korea, it's all because of BTS. So how dare he belittle them?
They are ambassadors for Korea.
Yeah, that made me angry.
Haters gonna hate.
And this is what he said. And I'm thinking, you should be proud of who they are. They're from Korea. You may have born here, but you're Korean. Should you be proud of them regardless? But I think those are people who haven't done their homework to find out more about them, about who they are and what they represent.
And that's another good thing about BTS too. No matter what kind of hate they get, they always fight back. They never let it shake them up or
No.
bring them down. They'll always just come back full force.
Yeah,
Like you throw a rock at them, they'll come back with a brick.
yeah,
They'll come back with a
Form of a song.
I am waiting for Sugar's song because of with the Jim Jones stuff. So I'm just waiting to hear what's going to be the reply because I know we are going to get something.
I think so too.
Yeah, we're going to get something, and it's going to be powerful.
Well, I mean, he even said in his V Live when he was talking about the album that he put traps in the album to catch the rats, and that song was one of the traps.
I just wish that Big Hit had taken a different stance on that whole issue, because I feel like Yoongi knew exactly what he was doing. He was the producer, and you came out with a statement saying the producer didn't realize what had happened or what had gone into the music, but no. And I get why. I understand, because they're getting ready to go public and they need everything to seem like moonlight and roses. But at the same time, you know, you can't tell them that they get to have their own voice and then silence them when it doesn't convenience you. So I'm really upset with them for not saying he's an artist. Art is made to invoke rage sometimes, anger, upset, happiness, sadness. Art is to make you feel whatever feeling you have. And he is an artist, and he should be able to express that just like any other artist would.
But that's all the companies over there do. They always apologize. They don't really stand up for themselves. They just apologize and give in to the haters. You know, I didn't listen to this song too much, but I did listen to it, and I don't see anything wrong with it. Even if you reference Jim Jones by dissing him, what's the problem? Why can't you just listen to the music and understand what he's saying instead of jumping to conclusions? I guess apparently Black people feel offended. I didn't feel offended. I did not feel offended one bit. I lived in Trinidad when this happened in Guyana. It was all the rage down there. I don't think he did anything wrong. Right.
No, I don't think so either. And I did some research after it because I was like, why are we all so mad? Like, I knew Jim Jones was a cult leader, but so then I went and read about him. He actually did a lot of
good stuff.
Go to his wiki page. Yeah, he did a lot of good stuff.
He did a lot of good stuff before
family.
He went crazy. And
yes. Before he literally had everybody drink the Kool-Aid.
Right.
But before then, he was for a lot of good things. I don't know.
We also haven't banned the phrase "drink the Kool-Aid," even though that's directly referencing him anytime somebody says it. So don't break somebody else over the coals whenever that's a common phrase that people use all the time. So
exactly, everybody uses that phrase.
Yeah, and I think people just forget to look at the overall picture. They see one thing that they're unhappy about, and then they just focus on that one thing. But they don't look at the overall picture that, hey, there's more meaning to this message.
Just an update, ladies, they're almost at $800,000.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
It'll be at $1 million by the time we go to bed.
Yes.
That's
the power of ARMY.
Maybe I should just donate again to like help.
Just take all my money.
A recommendation that we all donate $6.13 on June 13th. In honor of BTS. That was a great idea.
Yes.
Love.
Awesome.
You know, and it's not breaking anybody's budget then, you know, I mean, again, everybody's different walks of life, but $6, you know.
Yeah, I'm in for that.
I would like to see the accountant looking at the transactions. 613.
Yes.
Somebody can put this on Twitter.
That's where I saw it, on Twitter. That was somebody's idea, and I retweeted it.
All the generations always wonder, well, what is the world going to come to? And I think the world is in good hands. I don't think we have to worry about it.
I feel like this generation is going to pick up the pieces, hopefully, and put it back together.
They certainly give me hope.
I hope I live long enough to enjoy it.
That graduation ceremony just really hit me in all of my feelings from the very beginning. It was very emotional, and I didn't expect it to be, but it was very moving, and just I don't know, maybe that ray of sunshine that we all needed to realize that there's so many people out there that have a future ahead of them and plans to make the world a better place, and now a big platform to make it happen.
Mm-hmm. I think the timing of everything is perfect.
Yeah.
If you think about it.
So are we guys excited about next Sunday morning?
Yes, I'm super excited. I mean, other than getting up at 5 a.m. or 4:30 to get ready for it, but
I'll probably be up. I was up until 8 o'clock this morning anyway, so I'll do it.
It'll be really interesting to see if it's actually filmed at the dorm or if it's like a set, you know what I mean? It looks like the dorm. Whatever it is, I don't care, but I just think it'll be interesting to see what it really looks like.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah.
They moved into a new building, didn't they? So I'm sure they've got their nice new swanky pad.
Yeah, I'm just excited to see them for 90 minutes of uninterrupted BTS time.
I want to see Filter.
I know.
Yeah.
I want it.
And we are bulletproof.
Oh God.
Eternal. I'm not ready for all that.
Not ready.
Well, no, but
not ready. I already
Agreed.
know I'm going to be a blubbering mess about We Are Eternal.
Yes. I was already thinking before they had postponed the concerts, I was already thinking, okay, I'm going to need to wear waterproof mascara because that's going to look a mess. Or maybe I just don't wear any.
I was the same. Like, I was like, I can't even watch a concert online without crying before the end. So I know being in person, I'll never make it. I'll have to figure out this whole makeup thing, or I'll look like those girls from the 80s crying over Bon Jovi. And it'll just be like black underneath, streaking down my cheeks.
Makeup remover wipes is one of the highly recommended bag essentials for BTS concerts, so that you can clean yourself up properly after you shed your tears.
Yeah.
Well, I'm hoping that We Are Bulletproof video is like actually them and not like maybe I was thinking it's going to be concert footage and then it's just playing, you know, like a lot of fan made videos already are out there.
Yeah.
I want it to be them.
Yes, agreed.
Them with some really good camera work. If you know what I mean.
Definitely. That's funny.
Close my eyes.
Our little golden innocent maknae.
She really is.
That's the
Don't mind me.
Well, do you guys want to do the introductions?
Yeah, I think
Let's do it.
That.
Okay, you guys go.
So you can call me Jay. My story down the rabbit hole has started much like other moms my age. I have my teenage daughter to thank. One night we were at my son's soccer practice. We were in the car waiting for him, and she felt like she had a captive audience. And so she's like, Mom, you need to watch these music videos. She had been talking to me about BTS, and BTS didn't mean anything to me except for behind the scenes. And she showed me Blood, Sweat, and Tears. And I had never watched any Korean group before singing in Korean or anything. So I just sat there with my mouth agape going, wow, what is this? Who are they? And that's the one music video I remember. And then that kind of led to, Mom, let's watch Run. I'm like, okay, what's Run? It's the show that they do every week and they play games. I'm like, okay, I'm down. And so we'd watch the Run episodes, and she made me watch American Hustle Life. And that's when I discovered V is my bias. I fell in love with sweet little innocent, beautiful V watching American Hustle Life. And then that led to me on my own going down the YouTube rabbit hole and searching up dance practice videos. Can you say Bepse? Hello. That I would watch that on a loop. And so it just, I love that BTS brought my daughter and I closer together. We went up to Fort Worth for the day 2 of the concert back in 2018. We went up to Chicago last year for day one, Soldier Field. It's been our thing. We've gone to see every movie they've put out in the theater. We were there front and center. I have my little collection of merch, my t-shirts, my sweatshirts, my CDs. I don't have a CD player, but I have them anyway because, you know, it's the coveted, the photo in there and all the other goodies. And I am exactly like House of Bangtan when Namjoon is very carefully opening up his new merch and he doesn't want to ruin anything. That's me. Yes. So Namjoon and Hobie are my daughter and I, right? We're like, we both are actual card carrying ARMY. And so when we were getting our delivery, I got mine first. My daughter was a little upset, you know, like, wait a minute, where's mine? I'm like, no, this is mommy's. You'll have yours. I don't know when it's going to get here, but I'm not sharing mine until you get yours. So anyway, here it is almost 3 years later, and there's no other group that has had the impact that BTS has had on my life to the degree that I've been studying Korean. We even went to South Korea, y'all. I took my daughter to South Korea for a week last year, and they've just opened up a whole new world, not just music, but just the culture, the language, the food. Oh my gosh. Every time I see them eat, I crave, you know, bulgogi or, you know, everything. I just want to eat it all. I love it all. So thank you, BTS. You have enriched my life and you've helped solidify the bond I have with my daughter. So that's my story.
That's a great story.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I love it.
Who's next?
All right. Who's next?
Okay, I'll go. So my journey started with me watching K-dramas, and there was horror. And I realized I can listen to the music on YouTube. So I would listen to the music on YouTube, and even if I die at you, I would listen to that over and over and over. The high notes with Jin and V, I would listen to it over and over and over. My niece, because I lived with them at one time and watched Korean dramas with them, she got into the music. So she would go to concerts. She never took me with her. So I asked her, we went out to dinner in Ketong. I said, well, who is this? And she said, that's BTS. And she said, who is singing? She said, that's V and Jin. And so YouTube was my university. So I lived on YouTube, and one friend saw my YouTube thing. It was only Korean. And so she told her children, 7-year-old and 14-year-old, mind you, about me and BTS, watching all this Korean stuff. So they told me about My Drop. And I looked at My Drop. That is where I learned their names, who they were. And I watched J-Hope jump over and just the heel into the ground. I was so fascinated with that. I watched that over and over. I don't think I had a bias at the time, but I did like Hobie because of the way he did the mic drop. But DNA and RM and his little arm movements, I thought he was so cute. Jimin, I liked. So somewhere along the line, Jimin is actually my bias, but I made RM my bias. He wrecks me sometimes, but I just like RM. I just love RM. And Jimin, he wrecks me every single day. I get up every day and I smile because of those young men. And I tell my friends that I do not have a bad day because of them. Even if I'm having a bad day, they will make my day better. I went to City Field. When I heard they were coming to City Field, I didn't know they went to New Jersey. And they were coming to City Field. I said, well, I live in Brooklyn. I said, there's no way. They're coming to Queens and I live in Brooklyn and I'm not going to the concert. So I got tickets and I took a friend from church, a teenager. Yeah, I hang with the teenagers now. And the 14-year-old, the because the 7-year-old, she couldn't go, she's too young. We went to City Field. We enjoyed the show. I had my headband, my army bomb, and I thought, yes, I have my headband and my army bomb. I said that I cannot go to the concert if I don't have an army bomb. I bought my army bomb on Amazon and I paid, what, $90 for it? But I had to have an army bomb. It's part of the experience. I don't regret spending a penny on that army bomb. I did that. We went there and we thoroughly enjoyed ourselves. Then last year, I went to MetLife Day 1 and Day 2. Now, my daughter lives in Trinidad, and somewhere along the line, I got her hooked into BTS. So last year when RM dropped Persona, I called her. I said, you have to come. I already had my ticket. I said, you have to come. You have to get a flight to come here. I am going to get you a ticket. And she went, what are you talking about? It's too late now. I cannot get her flight. But it so happened she had coworkers that encouraged her to try to get a flight. I said, you have to get a flight. She got a flight. I bought tickets for her and my sister-in-law, thinking that they would go by themselves. Then my daughter said, well, I want you to go too, because she's closer to me than my sister-in-law. So I ended up going both nights, and that was her 40th birthday. So that was her 40th birthday gift. Was her first BTS concert.
Aww.
But Persona is one last year that did it for me. I took my sister-in-law, and she complained that she couldn't hear for a couple of hours after because of all the screaming. I said, but I gave the earplugs. But she did not use the earplugs. I am 65. I am from the Caribbean. And I don't believe there's another one like me. I said in my head, I'm 65 going on 80. And every year I'll be celebrating my 18th birthday and my regular birthday. And that is how BTS has me as a teenager. Because I did not enjoy life as a teenager, and now I'm living it up. I'm enjoying every single minute of the ride.
Hey.
That's amazing. All right, who's next? So, do you want to go?
Yes, I don't care. That's fine. So I have been in Army for over a year, and I remember hearing about them on TV and the internet, kind of like they were going to be doing Saturday Night Live. They were going to be at some music show, and I've never been into that sort of a thing, even as a teenager and stuff like that. I didn't watch the billboards or the AMAs. I didn't care. But I'm like, why is this such a big deal? Why is this such a big deal? And so I remember I was working weekends at the time, or Saturdays anyways, and we were really slow. So I went to YouTube and I literally just typed in, who is BTS? I proceeded, it was a slow day, thankfully. I watched videos for 8 hours, just every crack video. I watched some music videos, some explanation videos, and I've just never looked back. I made the mistake that I think everybody makes, and I was trying to learn them by hair color. Oh, I'm going to learn their name. Then I'd watch a different video, and I'm like, what the heck? Where's my pink-haired guy? Where's the blue-haired guy? And then, yeah, that's kind of how it's been. Just each day I fall more and more in love with them. I can't even imagine loving them more than I do today, but I know that tomorrow it'll happen. Something will come about, and I'm just like, oh my God. I've never been into other groups like this. For me, it's a whole new experience. So I very much get what Martina was saying about, kind of getting to live like she's 18 again. Like, feel like that because it's so silly. I've got BTS on my phone case. I've got BTS on my background. Like, I've got BTS up at work, and I am consuming so much BTS content and buying so much BTS goods. Like, I want all of it. It took me a while to commit to a bias. Yoongi probably caught my attention first because his rapping is amazing, but Tae is probably where my heart really landed. I just didn't want to admit it for a while. I don't remember what life was like before them. I really don't. I don't know what I did with my time. I've met so many great people, and I love them so much.
Feels.
Yeah, all the feels. Like, they make me feel all of the emotions. I used to joke with my fiance that I only had one feeling because I wasn't very emotional. Like, I'd watch a sad show or something, and it was just like, okay, like, I get why that's sad, but like, I'm not crying about it. And now with BTS, like, I bawl or I laugh and I smile. So they've opened all the feelings. So now we joke that I have all the feelings.
Love that.
That's awesome. Well, hi, I'm Susan. I discovered BTS. Well, actually, I knew they existed for many years. I used to watch just their dance practice videos because I'm like a choreography junkie. But it was last year in April when it was in the media about them being on Saturday Night Live and all this stuff. And I started thinking, I need to investigate them as a cultural phenomenon. I need to like figure them out. What is the deal? Why? I do this a lot with a lot of different issues. But usually I can finish my investigating in like 2 weeks. But there's so much data. There's so many videos, so many interviews, so much music. I was like, wow, this is insane. And I just totally went down the YouTube rabbit hole and it was crazy. But I was just really impressed more than anything by who they are as people, how authentic they are, their personalities. I just found them fascinating to watch, their run episodes, their Bon Voyage stuff. I like analyzing things, and so I just found them really fascinating as people and the way they get along and all of that. I just thought it was really interesting. Sadly, I've never seen them in concert. I had tickets for, well, I still have tickets. I have tickets for both days of Rose Bowl and both days of Chicago. Whenever that happens, 2022, who knows? So I'm really looking forward to that whenever that actually happens. My friends and family think I'm insane, but most of them are supportive. They see how happy I am. And so that even though they don't get it, they still support it. They think I'm hilarious, that I'm really into these guys. I have like signed up for a lot of different Korean language courses. I haven't gotten very far with any of them yet. I would love to go there someday. I love to travel, so hopefully that can happen in the future. Yeah, I'm just really happy. And the one thing that happened last year was I didn't have any local friends that were into BTS. But then I went to Bring the Soul, and I met this lady and her daughter, and we were talking, and they were saying, you know, I'd love to meet in person. It's great to do stuff online, but it'd be fun to meet other ARMY in person. And so she and I started this Louisville group last August. We've had birthday events for the guys. We had Jimin's in October, and then we had Tay and Jin's combo party in December, and then we had Youngies and Hobies in February, right before all this went down with the virus. So I'm grateful we had that. We have a group of about 150 people. It's mainly young women in their 20s, and we have a good time. They probably think we're crazy, the two of us that run it, but we have a good time, and it's really nice to be with other ARMY in person. So that's
Who's your bias?
Oh, well, I mean, it's so funny. I started off as JK mainly because I was watching all the Rose Bowl footage. Being from LA, I realized how important it is when you play the Rose Bowl. Like, so I was really fascinated that they were playing there, and I watched Rose Bowl footage, and I saw him flying, and I went crazy. I was like, oh my gosh, what is he doing? I remember watching that footage and telling everybody I knew about it, and they were like, okay. But yeah, so it started off with more JK, but it's migrated into Jimin, and it stayed Jimin pretty much. But I really love them all now, like almost equally, because I just keep being more and more impressed by each of them. So that's where I'm at.
They make it easy to be impressed by them.
Right.
Yeah.
I think everyone is OT7 ultimately, right?
Yes.
You have your bias, but you love all of them because they're
Yes.
all like 7 amazing individuals.
Exactly.
When I see Jimin, he makes me smile. So
Aw.
I know that feeling.
Jimin is a powerful little creature,
Yeah.
especially when he dances.
Oh, yeah.
definitely those body rolls. Oh my gosh.
The smile. Jimin's smile.
That
gets
smile
me
too,
every
yeah.
time. His smile, RM smile. I just love their smiles.
RM smile is because of those dimples, man.
Oh.
It just every time.
To me, he has a special smile when it reaches his eyes. It doesn't get there every time. Oh my gosh. I take a screenshot of it and just got it just right with that lovely smile that I like from RM.
I love it when he does that closed-mouthed smile. Oh, sends.
So cute.
And I love
Yeah.
Jin's smile when he closes his mouth. That is like the cutest thing ever.
Yeah.
I don't know, when I first saw it, I was like, whoa, whoa.
When he blinks, Jin's blinking thing that he does. I don't know why, that's just so endearing to me.
Yeah, they each all have these little things that we just love that about them. We just love these little silly things about them. You know, things some people wouldn't even notice. Those are the things we love about them.
True.
Yeah.
All right, who's next?
I guess
Crystal,
I'll
do you
go.
want to go?
Sure. Just a couple of things, I guess, before I introduce myself. I just want to talk about the fan base. That I know a lot of us have talked about the age and how some might think it's weird that there's older Nunas within the group, but I don't think it's weird at all. Age is just the number. They're usually not as vocal, but they're out there, which I think is really cool. Just like John Cena, he said the person that captured his attention first was Hobie, and how he's always so bright with his smile and everything. And the older armies are out there, so I think it's really cool.
I will represent all of them.
Oh,
All
yes.
the Caribbean women. I will represent.
Yay! Right. I'm Crystal. I would say I became a true ARMY about maybe the early part of 2020, maybe late 2019. I always knew of BTS, but if you asked me before late 2019 who each individual were, I would not have been able to tell you. I probably wouldn't have been able to tell you there's 7 members. I just knew there was BTS. But I guess during my college years, I've heard their songs before. I've listened to DNA. I'm a science major, so of course when I heard the title DNA, I'm a dork. I was like, oh, okay, it has a nice vibe. So I've listened to their music before. I never took the initiative to go and investigate who exactly BTS was. And then it wasn't until, I guess in 2018, they had their concert in my area in Fort Worth, Texas. But unfortunately, I guess by the time I realized they were coming and had the open mind of wanting to check them out, well, of course, all the tickets were overpriced. And so I couldn't get tickets at a decent price. And so I thought, okay, I'll try and beat the system where I'll have my phone ready on the day of the concert and wait for the ticket prices to drop. Well, I ended up with a health condition. I had BPPV, which is basically a vertigo condition. And it kind of just hit me out of nowhere. And so unfortunately, I had missed their concert. But I remember laying there in bed and ticket prices that were thousands of dollars had dropped to $150. And I'm just laying there in bed all sad that I missed their concert. But I was like, hey, surely that won't be the only time. So fast forward to 2020, I finally got tickets. Yay! But we still have to wait, but that's okay. At least I still have tickets in my hand. So it wasn't until late 2019 when my teenage niece had introduced me to other K-pop songs. And we'll listen to other K-pop songs here and there, but again, we didn't really look into the artists. We just listened to their music. Anyway, she came across one of their performances to Go Go. And it was just the cutest because they had cutout hearts and they were showing them on stage one by one when it was their turn to sing. Anyways, my teenage niece and I were watching it and squealing, and we don't squeal, but we were squealing because it was just the cutest. And so after I dropped her off at her house, I came home and that was it. I went down the YouTube rabbit hole and never turned back. Even before all of this, I've also listened to their speech at the UN, and I've heard all these good things about them, but it wasn't until then that I actually took more steps to look into them and then really figure out who they were. And then that's when I became addicted to their dance video practice to Mic Drop. Jen caught my attention because they had name tags on, and his name was the shortest. And I mean, in the podcast, people can't see this, but I'm actually wearing a Jen shirt. Anyways, I remember it was so short that it was easy to keep an eye on him because, again, at this time, I still couldn't figure out who was who. So, yeah, from there, I just kept watching their videos, and then of course, I went down to the other videos of them being silly and being them true selves. And that's another thing why I love BTS is they're not afraid to show their flaws. They're not afraid to show their hardships. I mean, there's always a balance. They'll show their hardships and their successes, and then they'll show their sad moments, but also their happy moments. I guess that's why I just love them so much. Speaking of Jin, he's my bias. And I'm getting all dorky just talking about it. Excuse me. Anyways, I connected with Jin on a deeper level, not just because he's real white handsome. The looks came with it, which is great. I connected with him on a deeper level because he's the oldest in the group and he acts all silly, but he also has a serious side to him, which I guess I connected with him in that sense. I may act all goofy and everything, but I do have a serious side, and I guess I just like showing the happy side of myself, because I guess a sad atmosphere, it kind of just brings me down. So I just like to stay positive. And so that's how I saw Jin. He's the type that likes to be positive all the time. And he'll do everything that he can to try and uplift everybody else around him. So I think that's really great. And then just talking about the graduation video, the one thing I also really liked about him is he mentioned that it took him a lot longer to try and catch up to the others when he first debuted with their dance practice and I guess everything else that they had to do. But he always had to remind himself just to take it slow, take it one step at a time. I've always been that way as well. It takes me a long time to grasp onto something. So I always have to take it slow, and then I'll eventually get there. I might not get there at the same pace as everyone else, but I'll get there eventually. That's why Jin is my bias, but I love them all. I'm Crystal. The end.
Love that.
Very cute, Crystal.
Oh,
That
thanks.
was precious. I love it when you gush over Jen. It's just the cutest thing ever.
I think I'm blushing.
I know. It's adorable.
It was super cute. Like seeing your face just like light up. And I'm pretty sure all of us have been doing that as we're talking about them. But like, I can just feel it. Like your smiling was me. I'm just like, oh, like I was smiling for your smile. But I understand the feeling.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Well, I guess it's my turn. So I'm Deanne. My friends call me Dee. Let's see. So I started down this K-pop thing probably about 2015. I met a girl when I moved to North Carolina who had lived in Korea. When we would hang out, which we don't live in the same town, so we only saw each other about every 3 or 4 months. So when we'd hang out, we would have our margarita nights, and we would just watch videos on YouTube and drink margaritas until we passed out. Some of it was K-pop stuff, some of it was other bands and things that we like. I paid like a little bit of attention to it, but not enough. And I guess because we just didn't spend enough time together. So it took until 2018 before it really hit me. And I'm real mad at myself for it taking that long, because I know I saw like so many BTS videos, and I mean, we watched Monsta X and Big Bang and other K-pop groups too. But anyway, 2018 in March, we hung out. The playlist had graduated to just K-pop stuff at that point. And that particular night, I'm pretty sure it was Boy With Love that came on first. And then I want to say DNA came on right after that. I don't remember what the third video was. That after she went home after that trip, I made a K-pop playlist on my Spotify. And so I just started adding songs that I remembered us listening to on our playlist. And then I made a playlist on YouTube, which you guys know, when you go on YouTube, there's a million other videos that it'll just keep playing forever, like just forever and ever. In the beginning, I was just like, oh, I'm just gonna listen to this music. It's great. And I really enjoy it. And then as time went on and the year progressed, by the end of the year, I was like, I need to know who they all are. Like, I just need to know their names. I need to be able to put the right name with the right face. That's what I did. And then I couldn't go back. So then I spent the next half of 2018 into 2019 like, well, I'm not really going to be our ARMY. I just like them, right? I just want to listen to their music. Now I know who they are. I feel better about my life. But no, that's not what happened. And it just got worse and worse, or better and better, however you want to take it. For me, it was better and better. And they just kind of took over. They just took over everything. I would go to work and I would come home and I would turn on YouTube. I stopped watching my TV shows and I started watching their TV shows. So I started watching Bon Voyage and BTS Run episodes and all of the content that I had been missing out on for the last 5 to 6 years. Because there's a lot of it out there. And it took me a while to figure out who my bias was. For that year, I just kind of looked at all of them and I was like, I don't know how I'm going to pick. And I really thought in the beginning it was going to be Tae, but it ended up being Jimin. And so Jimin has just been there the whole time until Map of the Soul 7 came out. Then the On Manifesto video, I was watching it And Yoongi's part, his rap part where he does the I don't give a every time I saw it, because I'm still obsessed with that video. Like, I'll just watch it over and over. Something about it, I don't know what it was, but it was just like him kicking on the door, like, hey, I'm here, pay attention to me. Then somebody showed me like the 2015 footage where they were all in leather, all the pictures of Yoongi. I'm like, what is happening? I don't understand. So now Jimin is always going to be my first bias, but Yoongi is now there right with him. And I shared with you guys the other day, but I've been very Yoongi focused, especially since his new album came out. Crystal can attest to this because I have been talking about him a lot in our chat. And so on my drive to work the other day, I was on my way, and in 20 minutes worth, and I literally have probably 400 songs in that playlist, and I heard 3 of Jimin's songs in 20 minutes. And I'm just like, oh, okay, I get it. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to not pay attention to you. I still love you. I didn't mean it. When I decided, like, okay, fine, I'm ARMY now. Like, this is a thing that's happened. I'm going to be ARMY. I was sad because I didn't have any ARMY friends, and I didn't know anybody other than my friend who lives 3 hours away that I only get to see every 3 or 4 months that was a K-pop person. How do I find people? What do I do? I don't know what to do. I actually saw an article about this group of older people who like BTS, as some article on Twitter. Oh, they have a Facebook group. Let me go find it. So I joined a few Facebook groups, and here we are. And now I have you guys as ARMY friends, and it's been the best experience of all of this, aside from the boys, having people that understand that you can talk to, because again, if you're not ARMY, you don't get it. People don't understand what it is. But I'm just proud to be a fan. They are amazing men. Aside from their looks, they are just genuine creatures who love and care about each other. They care about us. And I've never been a part of a fandom. And I've been a part of a lot of fandoms over my life. I've never been a part of a fandom where I felt that the artist on the other side really truly cared about me as much as I care about them. They may not know my name, they may not know where I live, but they care about each and every one of us. And that's just something that you can't replicate or get in any other place, I don't think.
I agree.
Definitely.
Love.
Yeah.
Love,
Totally
love,
agree.
love.
Yay.
Yay.
So here we are, little family of ARMYs.
Remember last year, one of the first things I watched were the old vlogs on Bangtan subs. That's what really made me ARMY, was watching those and realizing how far they'd come.
It's been a long way.
I don't ever remember choosing. Like, I don't think you choose. I think they choose you. Like, I never was like, oh, I'm not going to be ARMY, or I am ARMY. I just one day was ARMY. Just like one day I found BTS, and then I think almost immediately I was in. I'm all in. Whatever this is, I'm all in.
Yeah. I remember the actual moment when I was like, huh, okay, so I'm really doing this. When they performed on New Year's Rockin' Eve the first time, and they did DNA and Mic Drop, I was visiting my sister and her family, and they had friends over, and we had this whole New Year's Eve thing, and we watched their performance, and she and her friends were kind of poo-pooing, saying, oh my gosh, who are they? They're lip syncing. And I just came out and was like, oh no, they are not lip syncing. You don't understand how many hours they have trained to give a very energetic performance with stable vocals. As soon as the words had left my mouth, I was like, I'm ARMY. I'm defending these boys against these muggle doofuses, and I was really mad. I was so mad. I thought I should have been in the basement watching with my daughter and my son and their cousins, and not with these jackwagons. They really upset me.
Nothing lights an ARMY's fire like somebody bad-mouthing BTS.
Exactly.
Yes. That's so true.
Hell hath no fury like ARMY scorned.
Oh, for sure.
I think the moment I realized was when I looked up the fan chant. When I decided that I needed to know it, I was like, okay, well, we're done now.
I don't know that I've said it out loud. I've said it in my head a bazillion times.
No, I don't think I've said it out loud either.
I do it every time the songs are on.
We really need to practice, right? For these concerts and stuff. We do need to practice.
We got a couple years, but yes,
Susan, come on. It's got to be 2021. It can't be 2022.
We have a concert on Sunday. So
that's right.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Bangtan and Borahae. You can find us on Twitter at Borahae Podcast, on Instagram and Facebook at Bangtan and Borahae, and our email is bangtanandborahae@gmail.com.